prospect of sustainable development through agroforestry by our Director Extension Education, sir, and guiding force of this training, Dr. S.S. Singh, sir. First of all, I would like to welcome our Director Extension Education, Dr. S.S. Singh, sir. Welcome you, sir. Let me briefly introduce about Dr. S.S. Singh, sir. Dr. S.S. Singh, sir, currently serving as Director Extension Education, Rani Lakshmi Bai Central Agriculture University. He has also served as a Director, ICR Atari, Kolkata. He was Head of Division Crop Production at Indian Institute of Pulse Research, for Eastern Region, Patna, Bihar. Dr. Singh has also worked in RWC CMET India from 2004 to 2006. He was senior scientist in DWMR, ICR, RCR Patna and CSW CRTI RC Koraput. Dr. Singh has served RAU Pusa, or in terms of education, Dr. Singh did his BSc from CSA to Kanpur, MSc AG and PhD from ANDU to Adya, Uttar Pradesh. Dr. Singh has handled several projects, 16 foreign or external funded projects on a natural resource management, crop management, livelihood development, and crop improvement funded by DFID, IFAD, USAID, PMGF, IRRI, CMET, Ford Foundation, and European Union. As agronomist, he was contributed in development of 5 rice varieties which have been released by CVRC and Bihar SVRC and are suitable for aerobic drought prone. He was worked in a most of the agriculture extension project like land to land development projects and so many trainings and visit programs. He has mostly worked on farmer participatory research and Nicobar, Iceland, Odisha, Bihar, West Bengal, and Eastern Uttar Pradesh. Besides Bundelkhand, he works on resource conservation technologies and integrated farming system have been adopted by state government in their upscaling of agriculture program in Eastern India. At present, he is serving the Bundelkhand region, acting as the Director Extension Education. He is also a member of Academic Council, Research Council, Extension Council, and Board of Management, Board of Studies at RLBCU and other university. He has published more than 155 research papers and so many books, book chapters, technical bulletins, and so many things. He has visited USA, UK, Australia, Mexico, Thailand, Philippines, Bangladesh, and Nepal. He is a recipient of Rajiv Gandhi Gyan Vigyan Award from Ministry of Home Affairs, FAI Award, Senior Research Fellowship of ICAR, Excellent Team Research Award of ICAR in Social Sciences, and many more. He is a fellow of Indian Society of Agronomy and Society for Upliftment of Rural Economy. With this thought, there are many more to say about Dr. Singh, sir, and he is mainly the guiding force of this training. He is also involved for promotion of agroforestry system in the Bundelkhand region under Sir's able leadership. We are basically working in the field of agronomy, agroforestry. So with this, I directly invite Dr. S. Singh, sir, for deliver your lecture. Welcome you, sir. Dice is yours, sir. Please, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Prabhat Tiwari. Talking so much about myself. Anyway, thank you very much. My present topic is future prospects of sustainable development through agroforestry. So, how agroforestry is linked with the sustainable development goal of the United Nations. So, the agroforestry virtually linking and addressing so many sustainable development goals. And I will try to address these issues in my presentation. We know that there are global challenges, and presently the global challenges is facing so many faces, and among them, here I am presenting the global warming and climate change. That is the first one. We all are facing this problem, and I will discuss later on how climate change is affecting. But the global warming, which was expected to come in 2050, now it is predicted that the raising of temperature will come by 2030, which was expected in 2050. So we know that the rainfall deviation and increasing temperature. These are two factors in climate change, and the global warming is coming. The second one, the poverty. Poverty all along the globally it is increasing, and in all kind of section the poverty is increasing. Particularly the middle and low income, they are facing globally. That is the problem. And lack of education. Here I want to mention number of educated people are increasing, but what
Sorry
is
for,
the skill education is required?
sorry for interruption, sir. The slide is not moving, sir.
I'm talking on slide. So the poverty is also an issue, then lack of education, and then lack of economic opportunity and unemployment. So this economic opportunity and unemployment, particularly the weaker section and middle class section, is a key issue globally. Food security. Earlier, it was thought that the food security is not the issue, but now the food security is also coming in a big way. The scarcity of water, you know that how the increasing population and limited quantity of quality water is the scenario, and this scarcity of water for irrigation purpose in agriculture, as well as for drinking water for domestic purpose, that is also. The pollution is also at several fold, that might have been talked by so many colleagues, and extreme inequality and gender disparity. So these are the issue at global level, and the global problem is there. Okay. Now, the first point, that is the climatic scenario. So, the carbon dioxide concentration is increasing currently at around 410 ppm, and the mean temperature has been increased by more than 1 degree centigrade and may cross 1.5 degree centigrade by 2040. So with business as usual. So if we are not coming with the clean technology, clean and green technology, and adopted by large scale user stakeholders, then the temperature increase is the compulsion. And now you can see that this from 2015 to 2019, that has been a warmest year in past so many years, and seasons are shifting. Seasons are shifting means the temperature regime, which was supposed to be in June or May, that is also shifting towards July. So that is the, and again, what was the August September scenario, that is shifting to October November, and this is virtually not allowing the crop for sowing, because ideal temperature is important, and if the seasons are shifting, the rainfall is also shifting. The rainfall variability and intensity increasing. Over the time, what happened, I have this evaluated 100-year rainfall variability and intensity, and we have found that in 100-year, although the quantity of rainfall did not vary so much, but the number of rainy days has been decreased, and extreme events have been increased. Extreme events means whatever rainfall quantity was in 5 days, that happening in 1 day, 2 days, and this intensity is causing the more runoff, flooding condition, as well as this you can say dry spell during cropping period. So one side the flooding is coming, one side dry spell is coming in the same crop. So crop productivity is decreasing because of rainfall variability. You know that how glacier retreating is coming. You know very well. I need not to discuss. The important is that sea level is rising, and that has from 2006 to 2020 3.7 mm per year. Recent data. So it is alarming the coastal area, coastal countries like Maldives, Fiji, Mauritius, and in India also, the state like West Bengal, Odisha, it is presumed that due to rising sea level, there will be a large area intended due to this sea level rising. They will be out of crop cultivation. And similarly, these seawater, when they will be linking with some ponds or rivers, their water will be saline, and the even fisheries production will also be greatly affected. So this climate scenario is affecting these things. New insect and disease are emerging. Now, due to increase this soil temperature, organic carbon burning is there. And due to organic carbon burning, the productivity of the crop will decrease. At the same time, many microbes will also die. And the new insect pest will come, which is not today very prevalent. So you can imagine that how the climate change scenario is going to affect, and particularly approximately 3.3 to 3.6 billion people who live in contexts that are highly vulnerable to climate change. So particularly high temperature variability area, high rainfall variability area, sea level rising affected area, these peoples will be highly affected. And it is presumed that some area in eastern India, like near to Bangladesh, and even eastern part of Bihar, the wheat cultivation will be out of area. There will not be scope for wheat cultivation in these areas. Similarly, things are different scenario has been created by our scientists for India, and due to climate change, the actual scenario will be changed what we are looking today. So that is the case. You can see that the greenhouse gases and global warming. So the share of the carbon dioxide is about 76%. Methane is 16%, nitrous oxide is 7%, and other gases 1%. But the global warming potential, the global warming potential of the methane or nitrous oxide are manifold than carbon dioxide. So if in future by industrial pollution or by agriculture pollution, the nitrous oxide or methane or other gases, industrial gases, they are increasing, then the global warming will be at the more accelerated rate. So we have to be very cautious that how the more global warming potential gases emission should be reduced, and even the carbon dioxide is also reduced to a respected level. You can see that agriculturally related it is 22%, animal related, agriculture animal related total 22%. Direct emission is, in the case of the carbon dioxide equivalent, industry is contributing 24% highest, building 6%, electricity and heat 23%, transport 15%, and other energy 10%. So one can see that agriculture is related to us, and we have to focus in animal and agriculture sector how we can reduce these emission to address the climate change issue. You can see that the India is the world 4th biggest emitter of carbon dioxide. The first is of course China. The second is US. So per capita, if you see, although we are 4th, but per capita we are 1.9 as compared to the highest culprit are US and Russia per capita level. So in that sense, we are not so much culprit, but certainly those who are emitting more per capita, they are more responsible. Now you can come to Indian agriculture scenario, and you can see that the the carbon dioxide, this emission in Indian context is around 22 million tons. In this, the agriculture is 14%. And agriculture, along with the forestry and other land uses, contribute 24 to 25% of the emission, what I talked in past slide. So, Indian agriculture totally contributes 0.8% of total global emission and 7.65 of this emission from global agriculture. So, if you see from population angle, it is not so much, but certainly as in the quantity, it is high. In the agriculture, the lowland rice is the highest culprit. That is 2,100 to 2,350 kg per hectare. This greenhouse gases emission, followed by sugarcane, then potato and wheat. So this is the total scenario. The greenhouse gases emission of crops in India, kg carbon dioxide per hectare, if you see, the lowland rice is highest. And the crops like groundnut, chickpea, soybean, pigeon pea, the oilseed and pulses, and even the millets, they are not so much culprit. But the rice, sugarcane, potato and wheat, what I told, they are the highest culprit. So we have to see that how these crops, the green and clean technology in these crops are adopted so that the greenhouse gases emission can be reduced in these crops. That should be our aim. Now, greenhouse gases emission from Indian agriculture, if you see, we have to see the first, the improved variety, good rotation, cropping system. You know, and it is very much discussed. I need not to address these things, but just I am highlighting. The nutrient management, particularly using efficient fertilizer material and nitrification inhibitor. We know that when this nitrous oxides come in the air, it creates the many problems. And nitrous oxide global warming potential is higher, so much higher than carbon dioxide. So if the nitrification we can reduce by using inhibitors and other management practices, certainly the greenhouse gases emission we can reduce. Then again, the conservation agriculture, you know that there are three elements of conservation agriculture: minimum tillage, minimum soil disturbance, what we can say, and then residue retention, returning residue to the soil, and then judicious crop diversification. So there are three pillars of conservation agriculture. So reduced tillage, reduced retention, and crop diversification. These are the elements of conservation agriculture. Improved water management and drainage. They also reduce the greenhouse gases emission. Crop diversification, it is separately, but it is the part of conservation agriculture. And then the most important, what present today topic is that land use change with the agroforestry. So today we are focusing more land use change with the agroforestry. So here these elements are to be taken, and I hope that this agroforestry, what topic we are discussing in 5 days training program, it will get attention, particularly reducing the greenhouse gases emission. Now, just one slide on conservation agriculture technologies, how the productivity, profitability, water saving, and greenhouse gases emission, they are affected and they can be reduced by using conservation agriculture technology. And you can see that the lowest greenhouse mitigation is in the case of diversification, and the highest in the case of zero tillage plus residue. Means zero tillage plus residue, if we are adopting, then this mitigation means what greenhouse gases are coming, how much those the bad effect we can mitigate. So zero tillage plus residue is the best option, and then followed by direct seeded rice in the case of rice, which is particularly lowland rice, which is most emitter of greenhouse gases, where the direct seeded technology can play a vital role. Certainly, zero tillage alone or subsurface irrigation that also play a role, but if you combine all conservation agricultural practices as a whole, then the highest mitigation is 2.9. So how our new technology can play a major role in greenhouse gases emission? Now you can see the carbon sequestration potential of cropping system and tree-based system. Now in this slide here, you can see the rice, wheat, rice, maize, so many systems are here. And here the tree species. And you can see that the carbon sequestration potential in 30 duration, the pure crop is 0.02 to 0.1, where in the case of the average value is 0.062 megagram, as compared to in the case of fruit and agroforestry, it is 0.38 to 12.79 with average of 5.29 megagram. So you can see that how a tree system or fruit-based system has potential to increase the carbon sequestration. Now solution. What could be the solution? The agriculture, where and forestry and other land use, which are responsible for more than 25% of global this greenhouse gases emission, and the greenhouse gases concentration in atmosphere, it is just data is given. Business as usual, agriculture emission will increase by 77% till mid of 21st century. The emission from agriculture will also rise 42%, even after a closed yield gap, increasing efficiency of farming system. So we have to see the solution, and we have to see that how the carbon sequestration we are doing a large scale, and we are addressing these issues to a large extent. Now here, the tree-based system, what I put the data, the tree-based system, it is a low-hanging fruits. And The agroforestry, it is a low-hanging fruit. I said it contributes 9 out of 7 sustainable development goals. So it is addressing 9 points out of 17 SDG. Adoption and mitigation issue is addressing. It fights the poverty and hunger, enhanced farm income, and provision of ecosystem services. So these things are addressed by the agroforestry. So means the agroforestry is addressing so many things. Now, the agroforestry is the multifunctional way. It do the direct services. It improve the soil. It sequestrate the carbon. It conserve the biodiversity and livelihood and environment. I don't want to go in each point so much detail. You all are knowing, but these points are addressed by the agroforestry. Now you can see these are the agroclimatic zone-wise agroforestry area. So total agroforestry area is 28.42 million hectares. So it is around 8.6% of total area, geographical area. So different agroclimatic zones, the agroforestry area has been given, and you can see that zonation has been done for agroforestry where there is less than 2 million hectare to 2.4 million hectare, more than 4 million hectare area. So accordingly, we can see that which area is having better opportunity for agroforestry. Now here, the agroforestry systems in India has been given, and legend are here that how different agroforestry systems are prevailing across the country. So accordingly, we can plan that which system should be efficient for which area. Like agri-horticultural and scattered tree, agri-horticulture, commercial and scattered tree, commercial and agri-horticulture, commercial and scattered tree, commercial agroforestry, then so many home gardens, and all the many systems are here. So accordingly, we can think of. Similarly, research trend in agroforestry, the research are being done on sustainable agriculture, sustainability, soil organic carbon, intercropping, agriculture, biomass, deforestation, agroforestry system, carbon sequestration, land use change, LA cropping, then ecosystem services, afforestation, land use change, so many, soil fertility, food security, yield, conservation, this agroecology, agroforestry system, biodiversity conservation, soil organic matter. So these are the systems being addressed, are the research trend in the agroforestry. Now you can see that there has been the Paris Agreement and so many more. And India has set its target under Paris Agreement for 2030. That is the reducing greenhouse gases emission intensity of its GDP by 30 to 35%, below 2005 level by 2030. It is a huge task. How we will achieve this task? That we have to think very seriously. Then 40% of its power capacity to be based on non-fossil fuels. That is also very important task. And then create an additional carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide, additional forest and tree cover by 2030. So here in the case of agroforestry, we have to travel a very long way to achieve this goal, what India has already committed in the Paris Agreement. So, and then there are some achievements from our side. The emission intensity of GDP reduced by 21% below 2005 level by 2014. So this is a good indicator. 30% of the power capacity based on non-fossil fuels achieved by March 2018. It is also a good achievement. And emission avoided by forest cover falls more than half between 2010 to 2014. So those by tree covers double in the same period. So here the PM, Honorable PM has made 5 pledges. The India will increase its not fossil synergy capacity by 500 by 2030, GW by 2030. India will meet 50% of its energy requirement from renewable energy. India will reduce the total projected carbon emission by 1 billion ton from now to 2030. By 2030, India will reduce the carbon intensity of its economy by 45%. And by 2030, India will achieve the target of net zero. The net zero means what is emission and what is mitigation. So around then it will come the net zero. So that is our goal, and we have to see that how we are able to address this issue. So agroforestry will have to play a very important role, and whatever the India has said. So the sustainable development goal, what I talked earlier, from the Millennium Development Goal is a part of Millennium Development Goal. The out of 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the core of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, there are 169 targets that the United Nations member state adopted in 2015. So this agenda aims to create a global partnership in order to tackle the social, economic and environmental problems and promote sustainable development. So here, accordingly, we have to see the sustainable development goal. Just I am repeating these things, that there will be no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, equality education, there will be gender equality, clean water and sanitation, a forestable and clean energy, decent works and economic growth, industry innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, the climate action, life below water, life on land, place, just peace, justice and strong institutions, and partnership for the goals. So these are the sustainable development goals which are to be addressed. Now here, in this whole context, the agroforestry is going to play a vital role in the sustainable development goal, addressing so many issues which I told you. Now, the food, fodder, medicine, fuel, and ultimately addressing the no poverty, zero hunger, and good health and well-being of the Sustainable Development Goal 1, 2, and 3 is to will be addressed by the agroforestry. So that is the case where then there is a linkage between agroforestry, health, and nutrition. If you see the agroforestry through medicinal plant product, then 3 for fodder, fuel, and soil fertility, vegetable and milk, then nutritious agroforestry food, the fruits and leaves, and then 3 patterns, that density, species, and composition of trees on farm and landscape, that address the ecosystem structure and function. So ultimately, they go to income and input save, environmental service payment, nutrition, protein, micronutrient, calories intake, and ultimately health. And then health response to agroforestry. So this is a kind of chart where there is linkage of agroforestry, health, and nutrition. So that is to be that is a strong linkage. Now there is data that how the doubling farmer income through populous based agroforestry in northwestern India, that also has been able to increase the farmers' income. And you can see that at different agroforestry system, the input cost from tree, if you see the total cost, and then ultimately the return is very high, and the BC ratio is also very good. So we can see that if we take in the popular based cropping system, the sorghum followed by barsim, or cowpea followed by wheat, 2 systems we are taking, then the total system productivity return is very high in the agroforestry system. So we can say that ecosystem services, besides ecosystem services, the farmer's income, food, fodder, everything can be addressed in the integrated agroforestry system. In Sustainable Development Goal 5, you can see that how the gender equality and empowerment of all women and girls can be addressed. Although the 43% of the agriculture workforce in lower income countries are women, and but they represents just 13% of the agriculture landholder. So you can say that 30% are the landless. So here agroforestry is in many ways the land system can support the women and reduce the gender inequality. and it can provide the unique opportunity for women to play a central role in food production, and despite the limited access to land. So here it gives an opportunity. Now you can see the globally how the women can get the opportunity in agroforestry for different cases. You can see the picture shows that how women getting their role if there is agroforestry, and there will be the gender equality. In Sustainable Development Goal 6, again, this agroforestry, it ensures the availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. The climate model that predicts the large-scale deforestation could decrease the rainfall with as much as 30% in some regions. So here you can think that if 30% rainfall is decreases, then what will be the situation? So we have to see that there should not be deforestation. And if the rainfall will be affected, the whole cropping system, whole animal system, whole fishery system, they all are affected. They all will be affected. And then here again it is to put that agroforestry can improve the use of rainwater and produce more crop per drop. And then again pollution control. And then without the tree, these tropical soil, they lose their large pores and much of water is not able to enter deep into soil. So if there is no tree, there is no leaf litter fall, the infiltration rate is badly affected. Deep percolation is badly affected. So, and then there is less entry of water into soil, and the groundwater recharge is also very poor. So ultimately, if there is the tree system is there, that ensures the sustainable management of water and sanitation. So it is conclusion of 2017 of 35 nations that the 30% of tree covers in water set resulted in improved sanitation and reduced diarrheal disease. So it is very clear cut case that how system is. Then again in Sustainable Development Goal 7, that is affordable and clean energy. So here, how the tree system ensure access to affordable, reliable, and sustainable source of energy for all. It gives the biomass, and then biofuel, so many things. Heat, electricity, for everything is generated. So ultimately, the system is circulated, and ultimately the carbon dioxide, the carbon sequestration is also done. So the energy source is regulated in the case of the tree plantation, and Sustainable Development Goal 7 is also addressed in the case of now you can see in Sustainable Development Goal 8, the decent work and economic growth, how this tree system, agroforestry system, is addressing the creating jobs and economic growth. Now you can see the area under agroforestry system under different system: silviculture, agri-silviculture, irrigated, rain-fed, agri-horticulture, irrigated and rain-fed, silvipasture, and tree-borne oil seeds. Now you can see that the total annual employment that is the million persons in days, that is very high in different system. And the additional employment which is generated due to this system is creating jobs and economic growth through employment generation potential of agroforestry. So ultimately, these things are addressed. Then again, I am coming the Sustainable Development Goal 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure. So now here, role of agroforestry in industrial growth. The agroforestry meets 65% of small timber, 70 to 80% of plywood, 60% of paper pulp. So now if you recognize the agroforestry as viable venture, many business corporations, limited companies have initiated agroforestry activities in collaboration with the farmers. Particularly in the case of paper and pulp, much industries, timber and sawn woods, plywood industries, particle board industries, fiber board industries, dendro biomass power generation industries. So these this avenue is coming, and this needs the proper marketing, for which the training has been organized. So these are the avenue where there should be a strong linkage of the different stakeholders, and then particularly for the marketing, then it will address the sustainable development goal. You know that only production is not the solution if there is no proper marketing. So addressing all sustainable development goals through agroforestry, and what new avenue is coming, if marketing is not addressed, certainly it will not address the all things what we are thinking. The industrial growth, if you see the whatever the carbon storage are there and the soil has, it is used in the forest management, and it gives non-wood goods, services, timber, and then it is transported and it goes to trade and export, and it go for processing, then make secondary product and transport it, and it come to consumption and even recycled to thermal power plant. So all this cycle, industrial growth, is addressed if the proper forest management is there, the proper agroforestry is there. So that is the need of the hour. Now the total demand for various commodities and agroforestry contribution in 2050, if you see the food grain, fruits, fodder, fuel, timber, biodiesel, and the area required. So you can see that the contribution from agroforestry in 2050 from food grain 41.41. In the case of fruit also 47%. But the fodder million tons 154 million tons. The fuel wood again 308 million tons. The timbers 295 million tons. The biodiesel 30 million tons. And the area required for this 17.37 million hectare. And so we have to see that how the agroforestry is going to contribute in the future. So Again, in the climate action, Sustainable Development Goal 13, the combating climate change and its impact, an agroforestry farm can annually sequestrate 27.2 plus minus 13.5 ton carbon dioxide equivalent per hectare. So it is expected that to convert the agricultural land to agroforestry, then only the climate action will be addressed. So this climate action, what we are committed, and if we want to see, we have to do. If you see the mitigating climate vagaries through adoption of agroforestry land use in Maharashtra data, the total biomass is increased over the time in selected districts like Latur, Bardha, Thane, and Nasik. The soil carbon has also improved. Biomass carbon also improved. And then the total carbon biomass plus soil and net carbon sequestrated is also in 30 years is also very respective level. So we can say that the agroforestry system is addressing all these issues, and if there is the biomass carbon in the system, the SEM-BC and SEM-BN, soil microbial biomass carbon, soil microbial biomass nitrogen, that denotes the soil health, that is improved. So this system is also addressed. Then Sustainable Development Goal 14 and 15, that is the life on land, how we are addressing, and then life below the water, both. So what biodiversity loss is there, we are just resting, pausing by using agroforestry system. So both in both the condition, diversity of the ecosystem services tree regulates the life on land and below the water. The 1 hectare area of home gardens in Kerala was found to have 992 trees from 66 species belonging to 31 families. You can see that what kind of biodiversity is being saved by agroforestry in a particular area. So we are, by adopting agroforestry, we are maintaining the biodiversity, that is life on land and life below the water also. That is the case. Now the Sustainable Development Goal 17, the partnership for the goals, that is the agroforestry in the system. The research institutions are in partnership, financial institutions are in partnership, industry are in partnership, market in partnership, allied sciences are in partnership, and then international agencies are also in partnership. So all this partnership is being addressed by agroforestry, and that addresses the sustainable development, the partnership for the goal. Now overall you can see the glimpses. If the agroforestry is in the center helm of affair, the institutions, poverty dimensions, development infrastructure, sustainable consumption and production, ecological infrastructure, all are addressed. And particularly this all improves the income of marginal group, provide food and nutritional security, improves human well-being and reserves of medicinal plants. It can provide the opportunities of alternative education system. It provides the social and economic enrichment of women, open for sustainable water management, important source of local fuel supply, found to enhance the livelihood opportunities, useful in setup of small-scale industries, marginalized can easily enter, the source of critical green space in cities, being a local system of chances of food waste is less, the site of carbon sequestration, it can reduce the eutrophication due to less flow of agricultural waste, in situ conservation, and the decision making is within the community among the individuals, and the value addition to SG project can help the export. So most of the sustainable development goal is addressed by the agroforestry. Now, the strategy for sustainable development through agroforestry for food and nutrition security, production of fodder, soil and water conservation and soil improvement, uplifting livelihood opportunities for employment, carbon sequestration and mitigating climate change, and enhance the soil fertility, soil use efficiency, biological pest control, and microclimate immunization. So these are addressed through the agroforestry. Now, the atmospheric carbon sequestration below the ground pools, you can see here, and then soil carbon is here. So now the agroforestry, yeah, what it does, the leaf litter is fallen and added to carbon to the soil, and again the carbon lost to atmosphere through soil respiration. Here again the carbon is lost to atmosphere through respiration and decomposition of organic matter, and then again the what in air carbon is there, atmospheric carbon is there, it is fixed by tree through photosynthesis, and the carbon is internally transferred to below the ground by these plants. So this kind of continuum is here, how the carbon is managed by the tree, the system has been shown. So finally, what is the way forward? The way forward is we have to see that Green India mission we have to follow. The green highway policy, the tree line should be the highway. Namami Gange mission, tree on roadside. Then small farm, SMAF, then Campa, Manrega, Ayush, all this through the agroforestry should be addressed. So then we can say if tree are there, then there will be entrepreneurs, and then entrepreneurs will come, then marketing linkage will be strong. And whatever we are talking in our training, the marketing, then only it will be addressed through sustainable development goal address. With this, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving your very informative lectures. Dear participants, if you have any query, you can ask in chat box and directly to the sir. If you have any query, you can ask. Okay, if there is no query, sir, dear participants, appreciating your lectures, sir has a very vast knowledge about all the aspects of agriculture. Sir is also involved in promoting agroforestry, working in the field of, he is a man of agronomy for working in all sector of agriculture. So given sir such a very informative lectures covering all aspects, challenges to the solutions, how conservation agriculture in terms of climate change is contributing, and how agroforestry having the potential to the benefit of not only the climate but also the agroforestry having a production potential health and nutrition point of view. So sir has covered almost all aspects. So thank you very much, sir, for giving your consent and deliver a very informative and valuable lecture in our national training program. Thank you once again. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Namaskar.
So the participants, we have to move forward because our next lecture will be delivered by Dr. Vinod Kumar. Dr. Vinod Kumar, sir, are you listening?
Yes, yes, Dr. Bhagat.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. First of all, I would like to welcome Dr. Vinod Kumar, sir, in our national training programs. So, as I mentioned, Dr. Vinod Kumar, sir, field of his specialization is basically medicinal and aromatic plants. So, in terms of education, sir did his BSc, MSc, and PhD from Dr. Y.S. Parmar University of Horticulture and Forestry. Sir also served as at Rani Chauri campus, Uttarakhand, and now currently is working as a assistant professor in PSMA department, plantation spices, medicinal and aromatic plants at Rani Lakshmi Bai Central Agriculture University. There is also involved for developing a very beautiful medicinal garden over here and various aspects of medicinal plants. So directly, I would like to welcome Dr. Vinod Kumar sir to present his lecture. Please, sir, welcome you. Dice is yours, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Prabhati, for giving me this opportunity to give a lecture on this national training program on marketing and value chain based strategies for agroforestry products in India. So my screen is visible, sir. Screen is
Visible, sir, visible.
visible.
Kindly make it in a full screen. Yeah, sir. Now it's perfectly fine.
So, so today the lecture that I've been delivering is assessing the ecological and economic impacts of introducing medicinal plants into the diverse land use system. So myself, Dr. Vinod Kumar, working as assistant professor, Department of Plantation Spices, Medicinal and Aromatic Plants, College of Horticulture and Forestry. So I'll be just briefing about the how the medicinal plants they can be incorporated in different the land use systems and how the economy and the farmers' income can be benefited by the introduction of these medicinal plants. So this is the outline that I will be doing. The importance of introducing MAPs into diverse land use systems, the trade and demand scenarios, MAPs in biodiversity India, need for commercial cultivations, and if need this need for cultivation, how for go for the cultivation, how for go for the integration, and what are the challenges that we are getting in this program. So, as you all know, that there is the rising interest in the medicinal aromatic plants these days, and also during the post-pandemic era, people are more having faith on the use of these medicinal aromatic plants for curing many of the diseases and increasing their immunity. And the reason being that complementary and alternative medicine systems they having the less side effects, high cost of the modern drugs, and as a preventive measures they are being under utilization. So coming for brief about some trade and demand of the MAPs, talking about the global scenario. So as you can say, annual growth rate of 2.4% in volume and 9.2% in value. So according to the central government, to the export of medicinal plants has gone to 33.2% during the 2021. And this trend is ever increasing every year. So this shows how the medicinal aromatic plants are gaining importance in our society, not nationally, but also at the international levels. The export of medicinal plants is also increasing, and during the fiscal year 2021, it was like 377.63 millions. So which was as compared to 283.52 million dollars during 1920. So this trade is also increasing. So global trade and demand of these medicinal plants is projected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 8.17 from 2024 to 2032. So driven by the, as I already discussed, that it is this increase is driven by increasing consumers' interest in natural and organic products. So the international market of these medicinal plants is reached to the worth of rupees 5 trillion by 2050. So overall, the global scenario of MEPs is vibrant and growing market, and consumer trend is towards the health and sustainability that has increased the faith of the consumers on these medicinal plants. And this faith has supported the trade frameworks of the further affected by the framework and industry innovations that are going on. As you can see that medicinal aromatic plants or medicinal plants, they have been integrated as part of our food system and our day-to-day life system. So these integrations, they are possible due to the inventions or innovative ideas of the industries and other entrepreneurships that are being developing in this medicinal plant sector. So something trade and demand of MEPs in India. So some 8610 licensed herbal industries are there, which has increased nowadays. And total turnover of herbal industry in India in 2024 is estimated to be around 80 billion, which is approximately 10 billion USDs. So 907 MEPs utilized by these industries. So likewise, many commercially demands, there are 242 species in high commercial demands. From this, we can have an idea of how much scope these medicinal plants they are having. So 80% of these species, they are wildly harvested, only 20% of species they are still cultivated, because harvesting from the wild is cheaper, which requires only the collection effort and nothing more than that. And the total demand of herbal oil drug in India has risen from 5,000 to 6,50,000 metric ton in 2020. So there is a 20% increase in growth in the herbal drug market. So this increase is percentage increase is always increasing day by day. So India ranks second in the export of medicinal plants. So from high the biodiversity in India, what biodiversity that we are having, as you know that India is blessed with the different climatic conditions, and these medicinal and aromatic plants, they have the quality of growing in wide edaphic and climatic conditions. That's why so the traded medicinal plants are like belongs to 177 families, which are having 42% of the herbs, 27% of the trees and shrubs, and major families include some rubiaceae, fabaceae, like that. In percentage of the world, maybe like 25% we are having here in this country, our country. So 70% of MP are harvested from the wild and 90% that are destructively harvested from this. So highly traded MEPs of the India, we have aloe vera, cinnamon, ginospora, oroxylum, gymnea, rowelfia. So there are many medicinal plants. They are under the trade in India and also part of the export. So source of the local and modern therapeutic agents. So these medicinal aromatic plants, why there is so much of demand? Because they are the source of local and modern therapeutic agents, sources of the new drugs, nutraceuticals, and you can see the 2,500 plants that use that medicine in Indian system of medicine. So worldwide, still 80% people they use medicinal plants in this 70-80% Africa, 70% India and Pakistan, which prefer or first line of action is there for medicinal aromatic plants. So they also find their use in aromatic plants in confectionaries, aromatherapy, flavoring, etc. And the source of livelihood to many localites which are living in and around the forest areas, and also serve as the ecosystem services which are closely related to the cultural, moral, and religious values of the people. So, but there are some serious concerns of these enemies. For such a demand, high demand, they have to how we can make. So 90% of the raw material is widely harvested as we told, and 70% of these are harvested destructively. Okay, we are not thinking about their regeneration. So at global level, 4,160 MEPs they are threatened. So in India, according to that data, 427 Indian medicinal plants they are endangered. So more than 70% threatened medicinal plant species are in active trade. So these threatened species are still in the active trade, and if some action is not taken in terms of their production, then they will actually will go to the extinct categories. Then limited cultivation. So people are cultivating it, but there are some limitation, especially for the temperate region crops, which are very long gestation period and ever fluctuating marketing demand and prices. Then overexploitation, unscientific harvesting, and habitat destruction. And another important thing which Sir was also discussing before this lecture, that is the climate change. So this climate change, most of the medicinal plants of the having there the natural which is disturbed to the changes in the climate. So high commercial demand is also there. As we can see, and the boom has been come after this post-COVID and COVID era. So people are preferring to have these medicinal aromatic plants in their lifestyle. So and they need for the sustainable utilization. Now, how this demand can be improved, or we can fulfill this demand. So there is an integration of this is the option for integrating these medicinal plants into the land use system, and which shows some ecological and economic benefits. So like what ecological balance impacts are that? So first is biodiversity enhancement. So medicinal plants, they can contribute to the biodiversity by introducing the new species into the ecosystem. They can attract a variety of pollinators, thereby supporting the local fauna. Example, honeybees are there. For tulsi, if you are growing a tulsi or other medicinal aromatic plants, they can senna. They can be a good forage for the bees in the dearth period, especially in the and marketing is also there for we are selling the honey, tulsi honey like that. So that is having the medicinal importance also. Then increased plant diversity can improve the soil health and resilience against the pests and diseases, as we all know that they are having the good quality of secondary metabolites, and that can affect the control the pest and diseases also, especially the aromatic grasses. Then soil health improvement. So many medicinal plants, they have the deep root system that help in soil stabilization and prevent erosion. Some plants, they can fix nitrogen, improve the fertility, and reduce the need of chemical fertilizer also. Likewise, organic matter for medicinal plants can enhance the soil structure and water retention. So these are some ecological impacts that can be gained out of this introducing the medicinal plants into the land use systems. Then habitat creation. So medicinal plants can provide habitats for various organisms, including insects, birds, and small mammals. And these plants can act as the buffer zone, supporting the wildlife corridors and promoting ecological connectivity. So habitat creation is important where we are having the degraded lands, wastelands, we do not find any type of vegetation. And the ability of these medicinal and aromatic plants to grow in such areas provide the habitat for these insects, birds, and small animals, and thereby creating a microhabitat or the uh, habitat for other animals also to come. Then climate regulation is also there. Introducing medicinal plants can contribute to the carbon sequestration, helping to mitigate climate change, and they can also regulate the microclimate, as I told before, offering the shade and reducing the soil temperature, especially in the areas where we don't have any kind of vegetation or tough. It is very tough to go for some plantations or some agriculture activity. Then comes the economic benefits. So it's not like that we are having the ecological impact, but it is having us some economic benefit. So cultivating medicinal plants can diversify the farmers' income sources, providing additional revenue stream. That as we grow in agroforestry, we are having the merge of everything like cultivation of crops, then medicinal plants. Medicinal plants in itself, they are the main source of main integration of the in under the agroforestry system. So these plants, they have often the high market value due to their medicinal properties, and as we know that increasing demand in the pharmaceutical and herbal industries. Then employment opportunities. The cultivation, then processing, and then marketing of these can create job opportunities in the rural areas. So as we have the problem of migration from the rural areas because of the lack of the availability of opportunities, employment opportunities in that areas, but or due to the dwindling agriculture activities or less returns from the agriculture activities in those areas. So incorporation of these medicinal and aromatic plants will add on to the another opportunity for the rural people to get some additional income and to ensure their livelihood. Then value addition. Now the medicinal plants therefore opportunities for value addition through processing into oils, extract and other products like other pharmaceutical industries and other food flavor industries. They are extracting the maximum benefit after processing these medicinal aromatic plants. Likewise, some small entrepreneurs, small scale industries, they can also come up in the rural areas, communities, like extraction of the aloe vera gel, extraction of the essential oils, making agarbattis, making herbal soaps, more many of these such activities they can be taken up in these areas. So cost saving, the utilization of these plants in our healthcare system is providing accessibility and affordable remedies for the local population whose reach towards the advanced health facilities is not there. Farmers they can have agriculture include pesticide fertilizer by adopting the organic practices facilitated by medicinal plant cultivations, and moreover they are also the least demanding crops and they can grow up in the marginal lands or the less or the lands which are not properly suitable for the agriculture. And morely they are having the secondary metabolites and other uh, contents which help the insects and pests to stay away from these plants, so that cost of pesticides and fertilizer is also minimized. Now, how this all will be possible for getting these ecological impacts and economic benefits? This can be how this can be done effectively by integrative strategies for the success of what we are thinking of. The first of all is the agroforestry system. So integrating these medicinal plants into this system can optimize the land use by combining the trees, crops, and medicinal plants. So this promotes sustainable land management and enhance the ecological benefits. Then community involvement. So engaging the local communities in planning and implementation phase ensures that the introduction of medicinal plants is culturally and economically appropriate. Example, like we are talking about the Tongia system. So there, if people are not uh, ready to grow for this medicinal and that we can do. So community involvement is very much important for the success of this type of system. And community-led initiatives can drive long-term success and adaptations if they are benefited from this cultivation of medicinal aromatic plants or incorporation of these medicinal plants into their day-to-day agriculture activities. Then research and development is required on the ecological benefits and market potential of medicinal plants that can provide the valuable insights. So marketing of these medicinal plants, it needs to be affirmed by the different research and development programs. So collaboration with agriculture universities and research institutes, it can foster the innovations and best practices for growing these medicinal aromatic plants under different land use systems. And then policy support is very much important in terms of the financial. So government policies and incentives can increase the cultivation of medicinal plants as the NMPP is doing, which is providing the subsidies and other programs has been run all over the India for encouraging the cultivation of these medicinal plants, aromatic crops, and dedicated institutes are there for this promotion of these medicinal aromatic plants. So supportive framework then include the like subsidies, technical assistance, and market access facilitation, which is becoming a firm day by day due to the high demand in national as well as the international market. So MAPs under some of the MAPs under which are under cultivation like Plantago ovata, Ecorus calamus, Rauwolfia serpentina, Vidania somnifera, Aloe barbadensis. So likewise, many of these medicinal plants under cultivations, they are having a good agriculture practices, economic practices, and they are being promoted for cultivation in India, but still temperate species, they are still very much behind the cultivation as the demand is increasing, but the extraction is mainly done from the wild population. So there is why there is need to promote the cultivation of MAPs. That way, as we take the first is genuine material is we'll get from the cultivation of genuine material. The research and innovation is possible when we do for the cultivation. Higher yields are expected. Uniform active content in the raw material, which is demand of a particular people for buyback directly from any institute or any others. Then uniform active content in the raw material. Then organic products, synchronous maturity, so conservation, no adulteration, which is required to go for the international market is, and easy certification of the products is there. So these are the benefits or we need for go for the cultivation or commercial cultivation of these plants. And of most important is that we can conserve these medicinal plants or this biodiversity in the wild. So commercial cultivation is the best way of conservation of the threatened MAPs and producing the high quality raw material, which is still a very much concern for these plants. So how to go for this commercial cultivation of MAPs? So planning and promoting, how we can plan and promote commercial cultivation. So first is identification of appropriate land use system, in which land use system we can successfully accomplish or integrate these MAPs. And one is this is agroforestry system. So before integrating of these medicinal plants into the agriculture, horticulture, agriculture, or forestry, or in the wild, we need to know about the tree crop interactions. So rainfall is intercepted by the canopy. Soil infiltration is higher under the canopy. So radiation is reduced to 30 to 60% under canopy if you're growing these medicinal plants under the canopy. Soil temperature reduced. So aerial biomass of plant is increased by 25% under the canopy. So microbial biomass is higher under the canopy. Likewise, many benefits of the tree crop interactions that can originate. So large proportion of extra nutrients accumulated under the canopy originate from the birds' nests in the trees. So above and as you can see above and below ground interaction of trees and MAPs and competition above ground and below ground for and some allelopathic effect also. But facilitation, we are talking that increase the biomass, increase in the fertility, increase of the organic matter, all these increase of the shade. So how smartly we introduce these medicinal plants into these different land use systems depends upon the quality of the shade. So competition for the light. So impact on herbage production. Shade tolerant species like MAPs, they are less impact on the while on the yield and active components of the and lighter light competition. So light demanders, they are more prevalent impact of the light competitions. So the talking about the above ground interaction. So we have competition for the light. So shade tolerant species, they are like Echinacea, Curcuma, Coleus, they grow well under this tree density and tree rotation. These are the different impacts of the above ground interaction that needs to be taken care before integrating these medicinal plants. So we should prefer the shade tolerant species for such areas. Some examples like areca nut based medicinal aromatic plants intercropping of Pogostemon, Cymbopogon, Bacopa produces the highest economic biomass than in the open condition because they are the shade loving crops. And then when we introduced in areca nut based MAP intercropping system, so these they perform better than the biomass than the open conditions. Likewise, Syncona laseriana under the shade of unless Nepal produces the higher bark and cunin yields of the plants. Then populous deltoids planted at 8 by 3, 6 spacing enhance the production efficiency of in osminum sanctum. Then the closer spacing is 5 by 5 reduce the production efficiency by 4 times. So likewise, we can manage the spacing and the tree canopy density and Likewise, we can get the higher returns for crops, and smartly we can select the crops that can grow easily under these conditions. So, allelopathic effect, like negative and positive tree crops and MAPs on the trees, we can say that Terminalia, Bellerica, Chabula, and Stupendous, they show negative allelopathic effect on the wheat and manifold crops. So integration of medicinal trees or medicinal crops, either above ground or below ground or in the home gardens, they require to be selected very effectively or very smartly depending upon the tree crop interactions. Then another example is Melia dubia and Simbopogon Martini based agroforestry system. Here you can see that spatial geometry, that is spacing 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 3 by 2, and 4 by 4, they have significantly affected the essential oil yield of the crop. So Simbopogon Martini, those are spacings they are affected, that is easily can grown under the spacing, close spacing. Melia dubia plus Simbopogon Martini. Then facilitation positive impact on the quality and production. So, there is also the evidences of positive impact on the quality and production. For example, Pacholi alcohol was also higher, 42.3% when was intercropped with the tea, that is agroforestry system in 9 by 3 meter, compared with the open conditions, that is 36.4%. It is a significant increase in the Pacholi alcohol. So this is a positive impact that needs to be harnessed. Then again, then competition exclusion. So exclusion of the third species, that is weeds, when two species compete for the resources. Okay, so there is also another importance. If you don't grow anything in the between these spaces of the interspecies, so or the alleys, then there will be weed over there. So exclusion of third species weeds when two species compete for resources is also there. So obviously when different species are going at the same place at the same time, so competition for water and nutrient is there, and facilitation is more nutrient availability and enhanced soil moisture. So it is both the beneficials and the facilitation for the trees and MAPs. So trees and MAPs, poor establishment, reduced growth, and MAPs on the trees also there, depending on the spacing and the species that we are utilizing. So facilitation, enhanced water filtration, less soil erosion is there, more soil nutrient enrichment is there, improved soil nutrient cycling is there, enhanced land productivity is there. So there are many examples for these factors that has the effect on the facilitations that are provided by the medicinal aromatic plants that are growing in the interspace of the different agroforestry systems. So enhanced crop yield, as we have discussed before. So, but how this all enhancement or what positivity we are expecting from integration of medicinal plants into different land use system depends upon the selection of the species. As we have noticed earlier also, the particular species were performing well under the shade loving will perform under the shade species. It is not like that. The shade uh, not which are not requiring the shade, we are growing under the canopies of the trees. So selection of the species according to the condition is very important, that we will have the benefits. So according to the climate and edaphic conditions, high commercial demand, which when we are going for the cultivation, we are having the demand for that particular species or not. And then threatened species should be prioritized for cultivation. Prioritized species for cultivation by National Medicine Plant Board. They have already given the list which are prioritized species depending on their demand and as well as their threatened species. Species prioritized under the summation on agroforestry. So these are the factors that needs to be taken into mind before for the selection of species. For making all these things easy, the species which are prioritized under different agroforestry systems, zone wise. For example, We are having the East zone, East India, so Bihar, Odisha, like Jharkhand, Nicobar, and so tree species that are there that can be Asian marmelos, Emily officinalis, Moringa, Saraka. Then shrub and climbers like Aracuda vasaca, asparagus, Emily arrives, Gymnina mycona Sotinospora cordifolia. So this zoning which has been done already, which is very important for the choice of the species that to be introduced, or one is want to go for the integration of these medicinal plants for under different land use system. Then North India, Jammu Kashmir, Himachal, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, we are having Manina arborea, Saraka soka, Texas policiana. Then shrubs and climbers are Visaka, Anglica rides, Gymnera silvestri, Mucuna pruriens. Then central area like Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, we have different tree species, Eagle marmelos, Comifora vitae, then Asparagus racemosus, as climbers, Mucuna, and Piper longum, Tinospora cordifila. So many of these species, uh, medicinal plants, they are having the wide edific and climatic adaptation, as we can see in different zones. They are repeated like East India, North India, Central India. We had some common like Tinospora cordifila, Mucuna pruriens, asparagus. So then South India, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Telangana, Lakshadweep, we are having some tree species as a indica. Likewise, we are having the shrubs and flowers, Jimnima, Mucuna, Piper longum. And the Northeast India, Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, so they are asparagus, Dioscorea, Mucuna, and trees of Terminalia Bellerica, Cebula. So these can be introduced in these uh, zones. Then Western India, Gujarat, Goa, Maharashtra, so Asian marmelos, Azadecta indica. So likewise, this is the zone-wise species priorities for this agroforestry. So some research studies on MAP cultivation, so under agroforestry like trees and MAPs. So Sorelia coryphora plus Sapota jatropha. The yield of the official part is 1510 kg of the seed per hectare. The sole crop, if I talk about, is 1424. So the integration of this Sorelia coryphora with Sapota has increased the yield of the official part. Then coconut, lemon, asparagus. So asparagus racemosus fresh tuber yield has been increased from 14 ton per hectare to 14.61 ton per hectare. Likewise, Melia dubia plus Symbocon marti, it has sole crop 11 ton per hectare, but in collaboration, integration with the Melia dubia, it has increased to 90 tons per hectare, the fresh herbage yield. So these examples says the success of growing medicinal and plants under the agroforestry system, which will add the income to the farmer. So what we are talking before, list of some 32 prioritized species for cultivation in the National Medicinal Plant Board, like Amla, Ashwagandha, Tees, Amla, Chiraita, Gudmar, Isabgol, and then Kutki, Safed mostly, Senata. We can select according to the, if someone is wishing to go for the cultivation, farmer can select these medicinal aromatic plants as per the zone wise ability of the plant to grow, which zone he is for, and then he can get the subsidies as well as the proper information from the different institutes for growing these medicinal plants in different system or integration system. So advantages of MAPs which are based on the cropping system, like MAPs, they are hardy in nature and can fit better in the degraded and wastelands. So they don't need intensive culture practices. They are suited for different agroclimatic zones, as we discussed. No threat from the wild animals, which is a major problem in different parts of the country due to the wild roaming animals. National and internationally, they are having high demand. And more number of species and choices of plant types are there. We can go for shrubs, trees, herbs, vines, which are available to suit the different cropping system. It's not like that we are going for only the shrubs or herbs going. We are having medicinal trees also. We are having medicinal shrubs, vines also. And with that, accordingly, what kind of system, cropping system you have, you can choose the plant. To generate additional income from such multi-storage plantation, option by the sustainable farming system, that is the organic farming, and to reduce expenditure on farming and increase the extra income for medicinal plants that product the value addition concept. So going for the value addition of these MAPs, we can generate the extra income also from the cropping system. So we can enhance our cropping systems through the addition of these medicinal plants in both ways, ecological, biological impacts, as well as the economic impact also. Now, what is the scope of this cultivation of MPs under the agroforestry in India? So, as intercropping with the trees, you can see the different medicinal plants that intercrop with the trees, and then wasteland agroforestry. So, these are the things that we can also how we can introduce for the cultivation of medicinal plants under agroforestry. So, forest plantations, then home gardens, then intercropping of MAPs, so medicinal plants in the as upper story trees, yeah, MAPs as intercrops in other tree crops, and MAPs in other agroforestry system like on the field burns and soil conservation burns and croplands, contour strips, or as the live hedge barrier, and to stabilize the terrace rise on the sloping lands in the number of countries. So this is an overall view of the integration of medicinal plants into different land use system that we are having here and how we can introduce it. Like, so first one is the forest and the forest plantations. So as we have discussed, the MFPs, they can tolerate the shade, moisture, high organic matter, and relative humidity. So cultivation of such MAPs can be taken up in the thinned forest and clear forest patches and as intercrops in the new forest plantations. The species that we're discussing, like ginger, or tulsi, or lemongrass, citronella, all these they can be introduced as a shade crops. So light demanding understory species like Echinacea, they may be intercropped initially to provide early returns, and after canopy closure, the shade tolerant species such as ginseng can be intercropped. So it is the proper management of time as well as the space. So if we are having the closed canopy well established forest is there, then we can go for the cultivation of this shade tolerant species. And but during the early stages, if we are going from the plantations, then early stages we can go for the cultivation of the light demanding species. That but important is that particular species should have the demand in the market also. Then, as in the Tongia system, newly established forest plantations, so intercropping of MAP is similar to the food crops we can do until they cover the ground. Here, I was talking about the social acceptance. So, social acceptance in such cases is very much important, and that will come when we will have the proper economic practices and as well as the marketing for this for their produce in form of medicinal. So participation local people with right to share benefits of the plantation, especially the ownership of the crops with the local people in the Asian countries. The same approach can be applied for MAPs in new plantations, the rehabilitation of degraded forest lands, participatory planning and implementations with local communities. That too, by sharing the economic benefits from an early stage onwards, will ensure the commitment of the people. So we have to keep in mind that should be socially accepted and that share or economic benefits that has to be shared with the people if you want to go for the successful plantations or integration of medicinal plants into the different wastelands or different systems. So another one is the home gardens. So home gardens, they are the complex agroforestry systems. As you all know that food, fruit, and timber species they can dominate the home garden, occupy the middle and upper strata, but medicinal plants, spices, and vegetations they occupy the lower strata. So these categories of plants, that is species used exclusively for the medicine, horticulture or timber species with complementary medicinal value, or VD medicinal species. So species composition plant density, and level of management vary considerably on the soil climate, market opportunity, and cultural background of the people. So likewise, their list is very good list of the plants, medicinal plants, herbs, shrubs, climbers. So accordingly, depending upon the climatic conditions, the social background of the people, they can choose from those lists. Then multi-strata system involve the fuse with more than 3 to 10 species than in the home gardens. Indefinite planning arrangement and can be designed for home consumption as well as the commercial production. In home gardens, you are already growing these medicinal plants, tree species with the for commercial for home consumption. But these things they can also be commercialized further. Then another one is the intercropping of the MAP. So types of it were how to intercrop medicinal plant as upper story trees or MAPs as the intercrop in other tree crops. So some points to be considered before selecting the crops is like tall growing crops with short growing crops, bushy crops with the red crops, so fast growing crops with the slow. So these are the crops should have least allelopathic effect. Time of peak nutrient demand of component crops should not overlap, and component crops must complementary to the main crop. So difference in maturity of component crops should be at least 30 days. So these are the major points that we should take into consideration before going for the intercropping of MAPs in as upper story or as the intercrops with the other tree crops. Because all these bushy crops with the red growing crops, so if there is a mismatch of these uh, qualities, then there will be the chances of loss in the yield of either the medicinal plant or the other crop. For example, medicinal plants is the upper story trees. So as upper story is coffee, cocoa, tea, they're traditionally grown under the shade offered by the multi-purpose trees that like timber, fruit, flowers, and nuts. Likewise, the tall and perennial medicinal plants need to be planted at wider spacing, like eucalyptus globulus, sandalwood, moringa, stupendous. They can be intercropped with the annual crops in the early years until the tree canopy covers the ground. And the intercrops give some income to the farmers during the period when the main trees have not started the production. So integration of these medicine plants as upper story trees is also benefits, and they can give some income to the farmers when the main trees they have not started the production. So management and maintenance of these plantation will be easy. Then coming to the intercropping of the medicinal. So many tropical MAPs they are well adapted to the partial shades. So they allowing them to intercrop with either timber, fuel plantations, fruit trees, and plantation crops. This is the beauty of the medicinal plants. They can be grown in different adverse climatic hydrotherapy conditions, in versatile hydrotherapy and climatic conditions, and different types of plantation like fuel wood plantations, fruit trees also, plantation crops also. So there are some successful intercrop medicinal plants with the fuel wood trees. For example, Albizia lebec, Eucalyptus tertinis, Malina, and Lucina leucocephala in India. They are include like intercropped with Safed mostly, Rauwolfia, turmeric, ginger. So these are the examples of medicinal plants. They are intercropped with the fuel wood trees. Then intercropping of medicinal plants in coconut, areca nut, stand is an old age-old practice in India, which is ideal. So this is not new, but these all things are there in the function. So another plantation crop intercropped with MAPs, rubber, for example, with Dioscorea floribunda in the state of Assam in India. And in Sikkim, large cardamom is grown under 30 different shade trees. So these are the examples and these which are there for the intercropping of the medicinal plants under different conditions. With either with the plantation crops like coconut is there, and then fuel wood species like albizia is there. So these are the successful examples. Then coming for the aromatic plants as the intercrops. So aromatic plants, they are the good intercrops for different system. For example, Mentha species, Mentha arvensis, Pepita, Citrata, Cymbopogon species, Palmarosa, they can be grown intercrop with the Populus deltoides or Eucalyptus species for successfully for 3 to 5 years after the planting the trees. So this is a wider scope of this for intercropping, and people are successfully cultivating these medicinal plants under the Populus deltoides or the Eucalyptus species. Likewise, some of the above aromatic species, Pelargonium, Geranium, can also be intercropped with another essential oil yielding tree, that is Eucalyptus citridora. So both of these aromatic crops, they can be grown simultaneously, one in the tree form and another one as the aromatic grass. So tree growth was generally affected by improved quality to the inputs given to the intercrops. With a mutual benefit for both of the crops. So whatever input we are giving to our crop, that is also consumed by the tree also, tree component also. Then essential oil profiles of citronella and palmarosa grown in open and partial seed were significantly different, but the oil of menthol mint produced in the open was rich in menthol, while that produced under shade was richer in menthol. So these are the some of the effects that are of intercropping. Either way, either foliage will increase, crop will increase, intercropping, or quality of oil or some content will be increased or decreased. If one is decreasing, another one is increased. So some intercropping on the oil quality of some aromatic grasses have the effect. So these intercropping systems gave 2 or 4 times greater economic returns than the sole cropping of the components. So these studies they indicate that aromatic crops can be profitably grown in association with linear growing fuel and timber tree species also. So these research or these studies, they are very much important, which are serving as the model for the people to take into practice. So these models are successful and people are doing, but they needs more research and extension for such activities to generate faith in the integration of medicinal and aromatic crops under different land use systems. The another one is the LA cropping. So LA cropping, agroforestry practice where agriculture, horticulture crops, they are grown in the LAs. So between widely spaced rows, medicinal plants, they are socioeconomic significance. So agroforestry system involving MAP focus on the LA cropping, determine and yield productivity of the species commonly used. So as we can see, the long-term goal is food crop. Okay, we are having the trees in the form of hedgerows, crops in the LA. Trees they are pruned which reduce the shade and also serve as the green mulch, and legumes they are favored. So as you can see here, so we are having the crops in the LAs and see the single or the multiple rows of the trees, and we are having the benefits from food crop also as well as from the trees also, and we are also enriching the nutrient cycling also there. So nature nutrient transfer to the soil, as you can see. So transferring of the nutrients, and it is the best suitable example for the best utilization of a space. So example is like you can see the LA cooperating with Sena, that is Cassia angustifolia. So Cassia angustifolia is growing successfully with this fruit trees, that is amla is there and then hard is there. Likewise, horticulture, medicinal agroforestry system is there, like Ola plus Google plus aloe vera. B the Anola, Google plus Palmarosa is there, and Anola, Google and Khas grass is there. So this is the beauty of these medicinal aromatic plants, that they can be integrated as the crop with many of the either horticulture crop, either forestry crops, or other in the wild or natural forest also they can be integrated. So this is Amla, Google, aloe vera plus agroforestry system, and then Google plus palmarosa is there, then Amla, Google. So such is the medicinal properties. So MAPs in other than the agroforestry systems. So here, as we can use the agroforestry system is there, but other different land use we can use. So aromatic grasses such as vetiver, jejunites, lemongrass, or they can be grown on the field bunds and soil conservation bunds in croplands. So we can stabilize our field bunds, we can conserve the soil also, and we can have the benefit of these crops also. Then vetiver is promoted for planting in the contour strips or as a live hedge barrier and to stabilize the terrace rise of sloping lands. Vetiver can be also be grown. They are also serving as the live hedge barriers and many hardy medicinal and fruit trees they can be grown. Community lands in the villages and degraded lands also. So in the state of MP, India, में जो है आंवला a rich source of vitamin C and custard apple for both food and medicine. They have been taken as the part of social forestry. So there is the different land system. Croplands you can go for the control strips you can go. Then for the community lands or village lands and degraded lands which are there as the wastelands, they all are being utilized and have the benefit from the medicinal and aromatic plants either as a herb, shrub, tree, or in any form can manage these lands. Then amla and the bale withstand the saline and alkali conditions, so they can be grown on the salt-affected soils also. So amla, bale, and withstand these. So these can be grown in the salt-affected soil where other things they will find difficult to be grown. Likewise, in West Bengal, uh, Costus speciosa, a diastenin producing plant, is recommended as a major understory crop in the social forestry programs. Other medicinal trees like grown on the wasteland includes sopna tree, wood apple is there, and many medicinal plants they have integrated into the croplands by planting them on the field bunds or as the scattered trees also. So this is how we can integrate medicinal and aromatic crops in different land use system and can gain benefits both economic as well as ecological benefits from the integration of the plants as we have discussed in the slide, either in the field bunds, live hedge barriers, the as a trees in the wastelands, in the problematic soils, salt affected soils. So we have recommendations nowadays for each and every different land use system which are dependent zone wise. Now coming for some medicinal plants for the dry lands. So dryland agriculture is characterized as uncertain monsoon, low crop yield, and irrigation facilities, and it needs to be exploited. Where we are having 60 to 70% of the land shall remain dry land. So in India, 68.4% of the net sown area in the dry land is supporting 40% of the population. So much people are depending on this dry land. 60% of cattle and 44% of food grain production is there. So 70% of the population through key crops like cereals, pulses, oilseed is there. So advantage is that medicinal plant essential for pharmaceutical industries. They thrive in all agroclimatic conditions, adapt to adverse climates, require minimum pest and disease management, and can be grown as a mixed or sole crop. So this is there for medicinal plants. We can utilize, we can grow this medicinal as per our use, as per our requirement, and as per the availability of resources with us. Either we are having less problematic soil, dry lands, or problem of animals, pest is there, so we can have the integration of medicinal plants in such areas. So suitable medicinal plants for some example, for dry lands like isabgol, senna, opium, poppy is there. So so all of these are not only the growing in these dry areas, but also fetching a good market. India is a leader producer of this is isabgol in the world. Likewise, opium, senna is there. So these plants they thrive well under such conditions and will get the benefit. Then wasteland development through these medicinal aromatic plants, so availability to grow well under the abiotic stress conditions without affecting their economic yield and medicinal value. So in India, soils, calcareous, drylands, they are being utilized to the potential of the crop. So under these conditions, medicinal plants, they are exceedingly reliable crop for the wasteland management. So trying if some in the wasteland which are problematic soils, so this is the option that we can go for the growth of these medicinal plants. Now suitability of medicinal and aromatic plants for the abiotic stress condition that we are talking before. How these medicinal aromatic plants they can be under the stress conditions. So acidic soils, we are having the Centella cinchona, Mucuna pruriens. Then saline alkaline soils, we have Pixaurilena, Cathanthus roseus, Sympacocon, Cypratus. You can see the list is we are having the many of the medicinal plants that can be selected from this list depending upon the condition, what condition of the soil or climate or financial or economic condition of the people are there. So acidic soil के लिए we have saline alkaline soils के लिए we have alkali and sodic soil. We are also having Adatota vasica, Clerodendron, Ceratum, Matricaria chamomile, wetlands or the waterlogged conditions, Ecorus calamus, Paramis there, whatever chichenoids is there. Then eroded ravine lands, Kilibetiva, Adatota, Lumbago. Calcareous soil, we are having the Phyllanthus sembra, Moringa leafera, Loea barbadensis. And then rain-fed and dryland, में Cassia angustifolia, Amplica officinalis, solemnum. So this is the way these medicinal aromatic plants they are suitable to be grown under different abiotic stress conditions, whatever the conditions we are having, the 10 trees, shrubs, herbs, and perennials, annuals. So this can be incorporated as the facility. Now some integration of the medicinal aromatic crops with traditional food crops also. Traditional food crops which people do not get away with those crops. So what we can incorporate to enhance the productivity of the integration of these traditional crops. So Safed Musli based cropping system is there. So intercropping of Safed Musli plus sorghum 3:2, Safed Musli pearl millet, Safed Musli plus maize, and Safed Musli plus peach and pea is also a cropping system. Then Kalmik based cropping system is the Kalmik plus peach and pea intercropping. It can be better for with coconut, arecanut garden also, amla plantation and agroforestry system. So this one plant, you can see the kalmik that can be intercropped with either with the agriculture crop or horticulture crop, or you can go for the plantation crops. So this is how the medicinal plants they are effective to be grown under different cropping systems. Likewise, we are having the senna-based cropping system. So senna is grown after the paddy plus rabi sorghum, north as well as the west India, followed by mustard, chickpea or coriander. And senna is also intercropped with the cotton, pigeon pea, and castor at different row proportions. So these cropping system they are modified as per the need and requirement and availability of the resources with the particular area spacing also depends upon the management practices. Then isabgol based cropping system is there. So isabgols come to harvest by 100 to 120 days, and it is accessible known as the rabi crop in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh. So usually fulfilled after the soybean, so drum wheat and mustard, chickpea and guar mustard India. So all the year round, people can have this facility when the of having the income from the lands which were otherwise not available for cultivation for few months or only favorable for the cultivation of the standard agricultural or the traditional food crops. So that lean period that can be filled up by intercropping these medicinal and aromatic crops. Another one is the mentha based cropping system is also there, which is largely cultivated in the western part of Uttar Pradesh. Then sweet basil is also there, followed by potato, paddy, menthol mint, maize, mustard, and menthol mint, maize, garlic, menthol mint plus okra, pigeon pea plus sweet basil, menthol mint plus okra are popular in Uttar Pradesh also. So many combinations, integration is possible. It depends upon what kind of expertise or what kind of availability of the planting material or condition of the area is there and which is demanded in the market that can be incorporated with this traditional food crop system. So this is also benefiting the farmers. But all for this, some challenges are also there. First is lack of high yielding genetically improved strains genotypes, which is of the prime importance for higher productivity. Still, scientists are trying hard for the improving it, but still, due to the changing climate scenario or different uh, things, the new genetically or yield is improved or the demand of the medicinal plants is ever increasing. So, high yielding genetically improved strains there still needs to be more clear. The lack of availability of the quality planting material is there. Many of the farmers or the entrepreneurs who wish to go for the cultivation of medicinal plants, they are lacking the lack of planting material. More farmer friendly literature on good agriculture practices is need to be made. Then market issue is there, but nowadays due to the diversification of the products of these medicinal plants and integration or biofortification of these medicinal aromatic plants or medicinal plants in different food system or supplementary food systems, this issue is going to be improved. Harvesting and processing related challenges, that good harvesting practices should be that mostly for the temperate species which are harvested from the wild sources, they needs to be quantified and the problem is the identification is there, adulteration is also there, and then after harvesting, processing. Many times the perishable uh, aromatic crops, which are having the essential oil, if not processed properly or not stored properly or immediately after the harvesting, then loss of yield is possible, which will result into the loss of oil and eventually the degradation of the economy. And the lack of the skill among the farmers. So basically, farmers do have the skill of growing the crops, लेकिन they lack somewhere in the processing part or value addition part that needs to be strengthened for making this cultivation more viable, economically more viable. And then some policy issues are also there which needs to be like MAP, MSPs or not for these and other rate is there not fixed for these crops. So this uh, generates a feeling of and feeling of fear among the farmers for growing. Lack of R&D MAP under agroforestry. More species needs to be introduced under the agroforestry system, which will be least affected by the shade of these forestries. So with this, I would like to conclude that the introduction of this medicinal plants into diverse land use systems presents a unique opportunity to enhance ecological sustainability and economic ecological sustainability as well as the economic resilience. And by carefully considering the ecological and economic impacts and implementing integrative strategies, so we can ensure successful incorporation of these plants into various landscapes. And as we discussed, proper choice of species, trees plus MAPs with tree density, canopy and roof management, coupled with adding good agriculture practices and good harvesting properties are needed to make commercial cultivation of MAPs under agroforestry viable. And then skill development is also important for establishment and management of the system, and linkage between pharmaceutical companies with growers needs to be established along with fixing of industry driven MSP. So this is all from my side. So thank you very much for this lecture.
Thank you, Dr. Vinod Kumar, sir. Participants, if you have any query, you can directly ask to Vinod Kumar, sir, or write in a chat box so that we can tackle your query regarding this medicinal plant. If you have any questions, you can ask. Okay, if there is no questions, sir, there is one question. Which tree species most suitable in agroforestry system with ashwagandha and why germination percentage is low? Sir, there is one question regarding the intercropping of Withania somnifera with tree. Which tree is suitable and why the germination percentage is quite slow under intercropping with forest trees? Kindly.
So ashwagandha naturally grows in the wild areas with the, it's a light demanding actually ashwagandha. So when it goes under the agroforestry system with the shade crops, so it gets the shade. So less shade trees which are having the less shade effect is to be used for these crops. Is actually it is a uh, क्या कहते हैं इसको शेड लविंग क्रॉप नहीं है, इसलिए इस वजह से जो है इसका it is less preferable for the under the intercropping as intercropping for the agroforestry system.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello.
Yes, Naresh Singh.
Yes, sir.
If
I
you
want to ask,
want to ask,
sir, one question I want to ask, sir. Sir, what
yeah,
are
yeah,
the
definitely.
sir, what are the long-term ecological risks of introducing non-native medicinal plants into diverse environment?
Pardon me, can you repeat once again?
Sir, I'm
Can you
repeating.
repeat once again?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm repeating.
Yeah.
Sir, what are the long-term ecological medicinal plants into? Am I audible, sir?
Yes, audible.
You are saying what is the effect of introducing mm, the non
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Long-term ecological risks, sir. Introducing non-native medicinal plant हम किसी diverse environment में अगर introduce कर रहे हैं सर तो उनका long term में क्या risks होंगे?
दोनों इफेक्ट है, पॉजिटिव भी है नेगेटिव इफेक्ट भी है लॉन्ग टर्म में. तो अगर आप if you are able to control them properly, sometimes they become the breed also. For example, we have different medicinal plants in the temperate region. For example, Aconitum heterophyllum is there, or Apish is there, Patish is there. If you grow from, they are having the, if you remove them from that ecological site where they are growing, they are definitely, they are stabilizing the soil over there. Kutki is example is there. If you due to the climate change or the over extraction, we are improving it, we are removing it, then there is a ecological impact on that, which is harmful for the growth of the other plants also. So if sometimes allelopathic effect can also be there. For example, जैसे इसका लेंटेना कैमरा या इस तरह की जो चीजें हैं इस तरह से हो जाता है, लेकिन they are not invasive. For example, medicinal plants, they are not invasive. If we are introducing there in the system, they can grow like anything.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
There is one another question. Is there any standard document available for these practices?
Yes, there are standard documents in the form of research paper, articles, and the publications that were discussed by National Medicinal Plants Board also, and different agencies which are having these standard techniques and other agroforestry systems. And here also, whatever research work in this university has been done on different medicinal aromatic plants under the agroforestry system. They are well documented, and that can be authentic material can be get from the universities and the institutes that are solely working on this. So these are the volumes of different medicinal aromatic plants, how to integrate them, how to go for the cultivation, how to go for the processing, where to get the market. All these documents are already present.
Another question, sir, kindly explain importance of herbal garden.
So, herbal garden is very much important. We are also having a herbal garden over here in the university also, and homestead gardens also. And people are also encouraging to grow these medicinal aromatic plants in and around their houses. And herbal importance of herbal garden depends upon how we are using it. We are using it for farmers here in, and for the students for identification for as a source of the biodiversity, as we are uh, having the diversity of many medicinal plants that are not grown naturally grown here, but we are incorporating here in the uh, herbal garden, which is a repository when we come for the extension activities, these herbal gardens and the study activities for the people. It is very much important here for us.
Regarding marketing, another question, how to sell farmer medicinal and aromatic plants?
How to sell farmers medicine. So there are these specific markets for, as we already discussed, this is a constraint for cultivation of medicinal plants. If farmers, if you want to boost the cultivation of this medicinal plant, we need to have a MSP, that are from the conclusion, as well as the proper market for their sale out. But there is a solution for this. Government of India has also reached out for these problems, and we can, here is the example that National Medicinal Plant Board, e-Charak is one website is there. E-Charak website, we can go there and we can see the different prices and different markets for the specific product, and what was the production and how can the production. So there from there, we farmers, which is an app. This e-Charak is an app. The farmer can also use it. We can also use it. And different mandis are also there, which are famous for the, like Amritsar, Neemuch mandi is there, where the trade is going on from many users. So,
Challenges of practicing medicinal plant with trees.
which one?
Yeah,
Farmer
question.
practicing growing of medicinal plants in agroforestry. What are the challenges? This one.
Yeah.
So challenges are same loss of production. That is a challenge, and selection of the uh, effective species. Particular recommended species should be there. Wise selection of the species should be there. It should not defend. Shade effect is there. Spacing is there. If we are planning for go for the medicinal plant integration in the agroforestry system, it needs to be well planned before going for the plantation. So whatever we can, which crop according to the area. So agroforestry system should be designed with respect to that particular area in that area. It's not like that we are thinking of growing some another medicinal plants which whose requirements are different, and we have planted the spacing of our trees in different ways. Definitely, then the thing is we lost. We will be in the loss.
So, sir, with this, I think we should stop here. So, thank you, sir, for delivering such a nice lectures, very informative and elaborative lectures covering all aspects of medicinal plant. While when we intercropping medicinal plant with trees, there are lots of things that we have to keep in our mind. You also shared some of the successful medicinal plants growing with forest trees, different successful agroforestry models as well. And you also involved in promoting a MAP in Bundelkhand region. and sharing your thoughts